This program is powered by
उच्च सोचको निर्माण सगरमाथा सिमेन्ट जुनी जुनीलाई।
Well, they say beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. Well, I have a beauty and I'll add more to it. Well, she's a stunner. Well, who's she? Well, she stunned me for sure. And I'd like you guys to get stunned after this Chiya break. Well, welcome to, yes, Chiya Guff, Pradhan, साथमा हुनुहुन्छ मेरो Nina Kant Mandal, who is also the first runner-up of Miss Universe Nepal 2021, right? So, Nina,
hello.
It's actually so pleasing to have you right in front of me, right across me,
Same.
and having tea with you, and also recording the show, and
It's
having
my
a wonderful
pleasure.
chat with you, right?
Yes.
So, how has so far Nepal treated you?
Amazing. A lot better than I expected, actually, because coming to a new country, of course, not knowing the language, not being the citizen, it is very nerve-wracking. It is definitely getting out of my comfort zone, like a huge part of my life has changed. And seeing people so accommodating,
Right.
always inviting me for lunches, for dinners, always willing to help me. It feels like I'm so welcome in here.
So, apart from the Miss Universe's team, how many friends have you made? Just outside,
Oh, a lot.
outside, you know, the glamour industry.
Yeah, a lot of people actually, because we, of course, there are some family friends that we have here, which I've been going for lunches and dinners for as well, and they've been introducing me to some other people they know. So it's more of like a networking connections that I make with people in the industry, outside of the industry, and whoever I meet, I'm excited to have a chat with them.
Do you feel like, you know, you've made a very quick impression amongst the Nepalese youth and the Nepalese audience? Do you feel that?
I feel like I have. Actually, you know, the first time that I went to Miss Universe Nepal last year, I was very scared of what people will think of me because, of course, I felt like I was an outsider. I was the only contestant that did not speak Nepali and lived outside, lived abroad, and never really had this chance to get to know the culture as much. And I wasn't sure, should I go for it, should I not? But then I still had this, like, why not attitude. So I decided, you know, life, you only live once, so why not try this? And last year when I first came to Nepal, and also opening up about my experiences from the past, talking about mental health, I feel like this really touched the youth, because right now it's very tough times that we're going through.
Yeah.
And people really felt that I'm the person who is outspoken about this, and they felt warm about this, so I'm very happy.
And you actually got a degree in psychology, right?
Yes.
And you talk about youth and the mental state and, you know, the good space. Are we as a generation very weak in terms of our fathers and mothers or the generation before that? Because we're getting affected a lot by a lot of things, or probably we're exposed to a lot of things right now in a go.
Yeah.
And we're very much exposed to the fact that, you know, what you're doing, what I'm doing, what he's doing, or what she's doing, or what she's doing. You know?
Yeah.
So does that exposing factor, is it actually affecting our you know, mental state? What is your take on that?
I mean, there've always been cases of people being exposed, be that, you know, people in power who always had this exposure and people always looked up to them. And I think that it's more of a tool that we need to learn how to use properly, because of course social media is out there, and the new generation, the Gen Z, they're living, basically they're growing up online rather than offline. So I'm still sort of in that generation which had the Nokia, you know, the brick ones with the snake game on it. And I used to run around, climb trees and play with my friends, but now generation is very different. And of course they grow up with the phones in their hands, like since they're babies.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, it is a good learning experience for them, because they learn how to grasp the new technologies very quickly. But at the same time, I feel like it is the responsibility of the parents to teach them how to use it properly, because of course a lot of, especially mental health issues, do come from being too much online, being too attached to your phones, to social media, and always being exposed and kind of like needing that like attention from people and the validation of the people as well. So that could, of course, result in some mental health issues, especially loneliness is apparently one of the biggest pandemics, upcoming pandemics, due to social media. But of course,
the fear of missing out.
It's the fear of missing out, the whole concept of not having like a, proper conversation, as we're having right now, face to face. And of course, the pandemic has also contributed a lot to that, because people are now studying online, they don't see each other properly face to face. And I feel like that could also be a big problem, of course. But we need to think of social media, as I said, as a tool. So if we learn how to use it properly, how to build connections, how to build communities to help others, that's when it becomes a beautiful thing.
Right. So, like, your social media is very beautiful for
Thank
the fact
you.
that she maintains her
Thank
feed
you.
very, very good and very fine. You know, if you've not checked her out, check her out on Instagram. You know, it's
And
really
TikTok.
beautiful. And TikTok. You know. So, Nina, is Nina Kant Mandal the same person as she represents herself in social media, or you know, the way you portray yourself in social media? How true is that? How is it not true?
Yeah, you know, I try to portray myself as close to what I am in real life as it is, because I don't like faking. I don't like trying to put on the face of, I don't know, like that person who is like, you know, walking around with her head up all the time. No, I'm very chill. I like experiencing new things. I'm actually very goofy, you know, something that you might not see in pageantry. But outside of all of that, especially with my friends, I like to laugh. I like to joke around all the time. And that's what I'm trying to show in my Instagram as well. So through my stories, my daily vlogs, which I'm doing basically almost every day, I try to show my daily life, my friends, my goofy side, and sometimes, of course, like when I'm not feeling good, when I'm feeling low, I also try to show a little bit of that as well, because that's the realness of me.
Yeah.
Everyone goes through something, everyone is a human, so I also try to add that. Of course, not too much, because I want to keep it very positive space, my Instagram, so. But yeah, I think it's pretty much who I am.
Who is your go-to person right now whenever you feel low? Because right now, I'm pretty much, if what I've known for, you're pretty much on your own right now.
Yeah, it does sometimes feel like I'm a bit lonely, especially now that I'm rooming with Sujita, of course, the Miss Universe Nepal 2021.
But then she's busy, like you
But
said.
she's very busy, yeah. She's flying in, 2 days from today? And
a couple of days back, I met Nagma and yourself.
Yeah,
and, you know, Nagma was like, you know, she's flying out like this Saturday or something
so
like
I
that.
only see her at night, and even sometimes at night I don't see her, because we have different schedules. In the morning she's off somewhere and I just woke up, and, you know, I come back late and she's already asleep. So it's very different. So of course sometimes I do feel like I'm here sort of by myself, but then of course, to-go people is my family and my boyfriend. They've been very supportive. They've been very putting a lot of trust in me as well. Of course, sending allowing your daughter go to a different country by herself. But of course, I have friends here. But still, like, it is a scary thought, because parents, of course, they're overprotective about everything. They want their kids to be close to them. But they do put a lot of trust. Of course, they check on me every day. How are you doing? And sometimes when I don't post too many stories, my mom is like, are you okay? I don't see that many stories. What's happening? So, but yeah, I think it's my parents and my boyfriend, definitely.
One of the fact that, you know, I see it in your stories is that, you know, you post it in English. Like there's a caption in English in every story, and there's a caption almost in every story. And there's a caption in Russian.
Yes.
It's really tiring.
It is
probably,
very tiring.
because I feel irritated sometimes, you know, just to type things on my story. I just leave it like that, you know, let whatever, you know, the people watch it, don't watch it, you know, whatever. You just put it out there. I just don't want to put it like a caption out there. But then you put in so much of hard work in managing your social media on your own. Does it not get draining managing your own social media?
Of course, it does, definitely. Sometimes I feel like if I had a team that would help me to actually translate everything, because I have to write it in English, because right now I think in English. Back at home when I was living in Russia, I was thinking in Russian. So it's kind of like this bilingual thing going on. And I have to translate it from English to Russian. And sometimes I'm like, how do you say this in Russian? I forgot. So I have to go to Google. I have to translate it. I have to make it as close to the actual initial text as possible. And I do it because, well, I like blogging, I like vlogging, and since I want to become an influencer, I want to grow my following, of course, and my audience as well. So for me, it is important that everyone is included, because sometimes when I don't write something in English or in Russian, they're like, I don't understand what you're saying, please, and we're so interested in what's happening. So for me, it's very important that everyone is included. I want my Instagram to be an inclusive community, basically. So that's why I do it for. Of course, it's draining, but I do take sometimes social breaks, like social media breaks.
Yeah.
But
what is the longest duration that you've taken
actually,
your break from social media?
I would say it was this summer, because
The entire summer, people
No,
missed.
not the entire summer, definitely. No, I was...
You wouldn't want to miss Nina Kant Mandal
Yes.
during summers, you know.
So, yeah, it was, I think, in August. Yeah, because I was going through like this period of time, you know, I needed some emotional break and stuff. So I did take a couple of weeks, I would say. Of course, posting once in a while so that people would be like, where are you? What's happening? You disappeared. Is everything okay? But yeah, I did take some breaks in between. So maybe like just posting one story a day, being like, guys, I'm alive, everything's fine. You know, I'm just taking a break. So
because it takes a lot for me, because, you know, even when each and every episode of the shows that I do comes out, I have to take on Instagram, I have to take on Facebook, I have to take on LinkedIn, I have to take on TikTok.
It's a
and
lot.
Different treatment for each of these.
Yes, they're all different platforms.
Yeah? So probably I post photos probably on Instagram too much, when it comes to promoting stuff. And I make a caption likewise. And on LinkedIn, I need to post it likewise so that it caters to the kind of audience it caters to. And on TikTok, I post short clips of my work and everything. And sometimes I feel like I feel drained. I feel really, really drained. And you know, the mobile, I just get irritated. I just get irritated, I get drained, you know, it just is like, oh my God, you know, it just happens like that. But on that note, we're taking a break from ChiyaGuff right now, like we take, you know, social media breaks once in a while. On that note, this is me, Pradhan, and with me is the beautiful Nina Kant Mandal, and we'll be right back only on ChiyaGuff once again with the beautiful lady right beside me. You would not want to miss out her on any given cost. Alright, welcome to ChiyaGuff. Mo Pradhan. Satma hununcha mero Nina Kant Mandal, who is the first runner-up of Miss Universe Nepal 2021, and she is determined, well, to take on the world. For her potential, well, I think she needs to take on the world. Alright. So, Nina.
Yes.
There's a lot of things to talk about and to talk on regarding youth and your agent experience. Now, going back to back in a pageant, you know, which has been so oftenly asked, and you've been answering it on your Instagram too, but I like to put it in a very different way, right?
Okay.
What is it like to pursue something and yet not get there?
I mean, of course it is mentally draining, of course it is, because you put all of the time, you put a lot of energy into this one thing, you're so dedicated to it. And when you're standing there so close to achieving your goal, achieving your dream, of course it is tough to not get it, to hear someone else's name being called. I mean, of course I was so happy last year for Anshika when she won the crown. Of course this year I was standing there hand in hand with Sujita, and for me it was a very special moment because we're so close to each other. Since last year we've been friends. And being there with her on the final stage, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing already. Like, I felt like, well, I've already achieved a very kind of like a big high level. But when my name was not called, of course, you have this like pinch inside of you being like, oh my God, I was so close, but like not there yet. But for me, I like to take things in a very positive way. I don't like to think of it as a failure. I don't know, it's like the word failure itself is just...
It's just too heavy.
Yeah, it's too heavy.
I don't think it justifies your effort.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the right word to justify your effort.
Your whole experience down. It's like you start thinking of all of these amazing things you've done, you've learned, as something like, oh, so that was a waste, kind of like you just kind of like down the drain. So for me, it's more of something that I've learned. For me, it's the journey that matters the most, because I've learned a lot. I've improved in so many levels, on so many levels in different ways as well. So for me, I would like to say as I achieved the next step, because last year I was the second runner-up and this year I'm the first runner-up. So it's kind of like taking one step at a time.
Does it get overwhelming when you have to answer the same, thing
question
again
over?
and again and again? I'm pretty much sure that, Sujita, and you've been getting the same question over.
No.
Don't you have a templated answer for this? Like, this many words for this many seconds and I'm done?
I feel like I'm done. 30 seconds and done.
Then done? Was this the templated answer? Was it?
Well, it's more
Almost?
Almost.
Okay.
No, honestly saying, I do ask this question a lot. Like, how's your pageant experience? And of course, with every person that I speak to, it's kind of like the words come out differently. Because with you, this program has been quite chill for me. So I'm as if I'm talking to my
chill guy to
friend.
be, hang around with.
Really good, let's hang around.
Right,
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm not taking a break, by the way. I'm taking another question. I'm hitting her with all the questions today. Like hitting her with the questions.
Yeah, I hope I'm taking that well.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's a certain kind of discipline in pageantry. But is pageant industry disciplined enough? What is your experience like?
What do you mean in terms of discipline?
In terms of professionalism, in terms of experience you've had so far, in terms of fairness, what is it like? What's your experience like? I'm not trying to put you in a spot. I'm just trying to know your experience.
Right. So no, it has been very disciplined for me, at least from my perspective. Honestly, never in my experience of pageantry I've been put in this position of you have to pay for the crown, you have to do this in order to get the crown. No, for me it has been what you put into this, that's what you gain from it as well. So I've been putting so much effort into it. Last year, of course, it was a very spontaneous decision. As I said, it was just kind of like, okay, let's do it. Like, let's try, why not? But this year, I sort of knew, I felt that I want to come back. I want to try again. I don't want to give up just yet. So I've been preparing myself, of course, and I've been showing it on my Instagram. So like the walk training and the Q&A and reading the news, trying to keep up with different things. And it is a lot to put in, so I have dedicated a lot of time. And when I came back, of course, there are so many things that need to be taken care of by the production team, but it has been amazing. Within this month, we have put such a great production so that we've been receiving so many good, positive feedback. And I would say that, yeah, definitely it has been very, very persistent, very sort of like on time, everything. And we've everyone, all the girls have been putting so much effort into it as well. So all of this collective effort has resulted in such a great show. So I feel like it has been very disciplined, yeah.
So what I'm trying to get here is you've come all the way from Russia. Sujita came all the way from the US.
Yeah.
Anshika came all the way from Australia.
Yeah.
And it's when you look at the history of pageant industry in Nepal, there are a lot of Miss Nepals who've actually made way away from Nepal just to be here for Miss Nepal.
Yeah.
And they've actually sacrificed a lot in the process. You've sacrificed a lot, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
If nothing else, time. You've given so much of time.
Yes.
Probably you could have done something else or not, but whatever you've done, you've sacrificed a lot of time. Has it been worthwhile? Has it been worthwhile?
Definitely. I would say this is one of the best decisions in my life I've made in the past years, because I would say from the start of the pandemic, when it was a lockdown, I wasn't able to work, unfortunately, and all those FaceTime shoots, they did not pay well, or it was more of like collaboration, so I was not really earning much. And I felt like I was in this ditch of misery because I could not work. I didn't know what to do with my life. Of course, I started TikToking, so that resulted in something at least. And I learned how to edit videos.
Yeah.
So I sort of let my creative side go and do something, with the time that I have. But once all of it was over, the modeling industry in Russia, it was very hard for it to get back on the same level that it was at. And also because there's so many countries which were locked, still on the lockdown. So the girls who worked abroad, they had to come back to Russia. So of course, there were a lot of girls competing for this one spot of being in the photo shoot or something. So for me, it was sort of like this hectic time of, I don't know what I'm doing with myself. I don't know what to do kind of thing, being lost and feeling miserable, basically. And once I've received a lot of messages from a lot of people saying that, Nina, oh my God, they have canceled the whole thing of, having the citizenship to compete. You should try, you should go for it. And I don't know, I had, of course, as I said, I had so many doubts, but I was thinking, what, this thing is going to really get me out of my comfort zone. It's going to give me this huge boost of energy, of confidence. It's going to teach me at the end of the day at least something. So I decided, why not go for it? Because it's experience. And lately I've had this sort of mindset of, you know, life is all about trying new things. It's all about experiencing and learning from all the experiences that you get, whether you win something or you don't win. So definitely pageantry has taught me a lot. It has, even now, this is my first time ever having an interview like this in front of the cameras and being in the studio. So
the one and only with Jay Pradhan.
Yes, the first one. So
Chiya Guff at prime times.
So you should feel special about that.
Yeah, I am very feeling special about it with Nina Kant Mandal. I just can't, you know, handle my expressions right now and, you know, emotions right now. Anyways, but see, there's a lot of ladies who've come to pageant industry, like I'm repeating the same thing, but what I'm going to is, who was your inspiration? Like, who did you see, like, you know, okay, she's also, like, you know, invested time and she's made something out of it, so why can't I? Should I? Or shouldn't I? But she did it. Why can't I? Was there something like that?
Actually, there was.
Who
and
was it?
Interestingly, everyone tells me that I look like her. It's Manita Devkota.
Yeah?
And I have seen your interview with her, and I was so inspired by the way she speaks, by her experience of actually coming from the US back to Nepal and investing so much of her time into the Nepalese culture, into the Days for Girls Nepal, right? With the menstrual hygiene. So she's done a lot of things, and she also came from abroad, not knowing the language fluently, and having to go through that whole kind of experience of learning everything from the beginning, basically. And that's something I'm going through right now as well. So I was actually in contact with her, asking her, like, so
what is the best advice that you received?
She said, try to soak in as much as you can, because, you know, people might not perceive you now as you want them to perceive you, but once you soak in all the information, once you learn, once you put all of this energy into trying to be the part of Nepal, so that's when people will be like, okay, she's putting effort into this, she's learning, so we respect that. And, you know, that's when
she made a very good name for herself.
Yeah,
and,
definitely,
you know, we all
definitely
love her. Manita, we all love you.
Yes, we love
I'm
you.
just waiting for you to come back to Nepal and, you know, like, have you right next to me as well. But until then, I've got this beautiful lady here right now. So, Nina, like, so much of challenges in a small market like Nepal too, like to make your mark, to gain projects, to gain good financial backing of projects. Do you see yourself working here for the longest of time? I mean, like, do you see the sustainability factor within the modeling industry that you're pursuing?
Well, I'm trying to make it more sustainable for myself, of course, because I've been receiving a lot of invitations for different programs, for different shoots. And of course, unfortunately, in Nepal, the market is not as big as, for example, it is in Russia or India or the US. But I can see so much potential because I've met so many people, so many designers, so many models or girls who want to become models, but they feel so kind of shy to try. They feel very constrained with the norms that they are in the society. And I keep telling them, just try, just go for it, because this is your life. This is something that you decide for yourself. And if you try, who knows, maybe you'll become the next face of Nepal in modeling industry. And I feel like this push for so many people is very important from, you know, from someone who was also feeling very down, very self-conscious, who was very shy and not feeling her body like, you know, like it was worth the modeling industry, basically. So I try to encourage as many people to go for it, to try to achieve your dreams, because together we can bring the modeling, the fashion industry, or whatever industry there is in Nepal up there. We can make a mark, basically. And it all depends on people. It doesn't depend on, you know, the circumstances. We are the ones who create the opportunities for ourselves and for others. And that's what I feel I am trying to do here as well. So I'm trying to network, I'm trying to see what I can do with some people, maybe start some projects, maybe be a part of some projects and bring it some, I don't know, some opportunities up there. So yeah, that's how I feel right now.
On that note, we are taking a very short break and we'll be right back only on Chiya Guff. This is me, Jay Pradhan. With me is Nina Kant Mandal. And we can't stop laughing, and I still can't stop, you know, just asking questions to her right after this break. All right, welcome back to Chiya Guff. I'm Jay Pradhan. Here they are PrimeHD. This is Chiya Guff, and with me is Nina Kant Mandal, who is the first runner-up of Miss Universe Nepal 2021. So, Nina.
Yes.
I've always seen you as this person who's very confident in your skin, who has the walk, who has the talk, who can actually carry on with any outfit that you wear, you know, like from head to the toe, you're like exuberating confidence, right? But you actually expressed right before this interview that you were actually not so confident with your own skin and with your own body.
Definitely
Tell
not.
me that.
So as I mentioned before, I was a very shy, very reserved kid. Even during our family gatherings for some birthdays, I would hesitate to wish someone or like raise a toast and say something because I felt like people always judge me. I felt like I was not good of a speaker enough to actually express my thoughts. And for me, it was there for a long time, the whole thing of like being in my own shell, of not getting out of there. But when I was a kid, for some reason, you know, you have that feeling sometimes that you are gonna achieve something in your life. You want to get there. You don't want to settle for mediocrity kind of thing. So I had that feeling, but I didn't know how to get out of my shell. And you know, when I watch the Victoria's Secret models, they're so confident. They walk with their wings, so much of fire and sexiness and confidence about their bodies and just about themselves. And that's something that really pushed me to kind of like modeling industry. That's when I wanted to actually become a model, because I felt like if I go on that stage on the runway and I walk the same way as them, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so confident. But that's sort of what led me into having the mental disorder that I went through, that I actually expressed during Miss Universe Nepal last year. So that was actually my first time I've ever spoken about this, and that's something that really brought me out of my shell as well. So, well, as any normal teenager going through puberty, I was eating a lot, I was gaining weight, my body was changing. And so I saw myself gaining weight and not looking like those models on the runway. And I was like, okay, so since I'm not like them, I'm not beautiful, I'm not going to ever be confident like them because I don't have the body that they have. And that led me to trying harsh dieting, to bulimia. I was never diagnosed, but I sort of realized what it was, but later on. So all of those things, all of those thoughts, negative thoughts about myself, that I'm not confident, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not worthy enough in general. So that's what led me to having this eating disorder. And I cannot really tell for how long it went, because it was sort of like a gradual transition from not liking myself, not loving myself, to having to get rid of this stress through binge eating and then purging and like all of those things that I went through. And only later on I realized what I was going through and how to get out of this through education, actually, because I took psychology class. And as we were learning about eating disorders, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm going through. This is exactly what I'm experiencing right now. So I need to get out of this as soon as possible, because unfortunately eating disorders is one of the leading causes of death, especially anorexia, when people stop eating at all, basically, and their bodies reject the food because, you know, it's just like all the mechanisms, basically, they break down.
This all happens because of eating disorder.
It's like, yeah, a lot of things, yeah, because of mental disorders, because it's a psychological disorder, first of all. So it's about like it's something that needs to be taken care of by the professionals. And I was really scared to go and tell someone about this, because I felt like people are going to be like, come on, you have no problems, why are you doing this to yourself, and kind of like not understanding what I was going through. So I never got any professional help, unfortunately, but I was able to get out of it myself, thankfully. So, and I know that there are a lot of people who are going through this exact problem right now, and a lot of them DM'd me on Instagram as well. I had really nice chats with some of the people. I sort of led them to understand that, you know, professional help is very important, it's very needed. Although, unfortunately, in Nepal, it's not as popular, I would say. You know, it's not this concept of getting psychological health from professionals, like help. It's not as popular as in the West. It's still stigmatized here. But I am happy that a lot of people are taking the initiative, and I myself was really surprised that I was able to get out there and tell people about my story, about my experience with all of this. And that's what actually pageantry has helped me with as well. So it's not just about, you know, me getting out of there on stage and answering the Q&A impromptu. No, it's also about me understanding my own worth, that, you know, I love myself, I love my body, I love who I am. And, you know, you only have yourself for the rest of the life. You have your body, you have your face, you have your mind. and you should work with what you have. You should keep loving, you should keep understanding yourself, understanding your potential, your worth, your talents, because all of us have so much to contribute to the society. And that's something we need to focus on instead of trying to look at someone who's up there on stage or someone who is on the runway and compare yourself only to that person, because of course you never know what the person might be going through as well. But what you can do is to try to change your life for the best and try to, you know, find your own worth and actually, you know, put whatever you have into that. Yeah, so
I think I've listened to so much in the show to someone for so long. It's actually a pleasure to, you know, just listen to Nina Kant Mandal. But Nina, glamour industry is ruthless in terms of looks, because it's a very looks-driven industry.
Yes, definitely.
I'm really sorry to say I'm a part of it, but yeah, I have to maintain myself if I have to, you know, just put on the game, like go on and on, right? So, what I want to ask you is, do you think time is running out for the kind of, you know, age you are at? Do you think glamour industry comes with a deadline of age? What do you think? What is your experience
right now,
like?
actually, I felt like it. At first, because I entered this industry very late, so a lot of models enter this when they're 14, 16 or 18 at most, I would say. But I entered when I was 24, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already like a, you know...
Are you late?
Yeah, like a grandma, you know, of this industry, basically. And also the pageantry, a lot of girls start quite young as well, because I've seen even this year, some girls were 19 last year. Yeah, some girls were 18 or 19 years old. And I'm like, oh, I'm already, you know, 25, now I'm 26. But I realized that it's not about the age. It's more of like, yeah, of course you age with every year, and sometimes there are limits, of course, but it shouldn't limit you with your potential. You should always look for some other things which will allow any ages to be in it. Or you should be the one who should be changing the norms, because right now, of course, the modeling industry changes very rapidly. You see, I don't know, like models of age 80 being there on the runway, being on the cover of Vogue. And I don't know, it amazes me how much this industry has changed and how much people are changing the industry. So for me, I feel like my deadline has extended until like unlimited. Yeah, of course. So now
it gives you confidence.
Yeah,
just
definitely,
to push yourself more.
Yeah, and I feel like now I'm not aging, I'm becoming wiser. I like to think of it that way, because now I actually gain something from the experiences I have. I think of some, you know, some things about myself. I realize some things about myself and discover some parts of me which I never known were there. So for me, it's more of like understanding myself, getting wiser, gaining experience, and just putting myself out there. Because, I mean, of course, taking care of myself and like looking more youthful and everything is also important in modeling industry, because it's a beauty industry after all.
Yeah.
But I feel like the deadline has definitely extended.
All right. On that note, we've reached our deadline of, you know, wrapping up the show.
Oh, really?
I would
I'm so
like
sad.
and wish that, you know, you explore more of yourself. You get to know more of yourself, so that you can actually reach the potential that you're meant for. I think, and we all think, that you've got immense potential. That you can, you know, represent Nepal, represent your family, represent yourself everywhere and anywhere that you go to. We wish you the best, Nina. And we actually thank you for your time and being on time. Actually, before time. You know, she's given us all the time. And I'd like to wish you all the best. If nothing but the best.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Definitely.
All right, on that note, people, thank you so much for watching. This is me, Pradhan. I'm with the beautiful and the bold, brave, bold and beautiful. Yes, Nina Kant Mandal, the first runner-up of Miss Universe Nepal 2021. This is Pradhan signing off. And as always, people, let that heart beat, for if you let it beat, it'll take you to all the wonderful places. Ciao.
This program is powered by
उच्च सोचको निर्माण सगरमाथा सिमेन्ट जुनी जुनीलाई